DPPR had to step down, and there was a need, and I felt I could take on the role, so I volunteered.
Okay, great. It's lovely to hear all your inputs. I didn't hear from Patience, but I'm sure Patience
says, I wanted a challenge for something I haven't done before.
Great.
And Tekofatso says, I wanted to take on a challenge for a new club.
Yay! I love the fact that everyone's saying challenge, challenge, challenge. You're going to hear me use the word brand ambassadors a lot because that's what you are, and I'm going to get to it in a minute. But just before then, this is what we're going to talk about this morning, Toastmasters. It's quite a lot of detail, but don't worry, we're going to make it as simple as possible and as interactive. We're a nice, cozy group. I'm first going to tell you a little bit about what your role entails. Based on the comments and the commentary in the chat box, I'm getting a sense that no one's really done this particular role before. So I'll just explain to you what the role entails. We'll speak a little bit about a few key elements in the role itself. One of them is the brand manual. Another is the public relations plan. Then we'll speak a little bit about internal communications versus external communications. I'll give you a brief outline of some of the skills that you can learn from this role. And then lastly, some resources to assist you on this journey as you move along as a brand ambassador. You would have heard I called you brand ambassador a few times within less than a few minutes. And that's because that is who you are. You are the club's brand ambassador. You're responsible for quite a few things. One of them is you need to ensure that everyone in the club is safeguarding the Toastmasters brand and the Toastmasters identity. I'm sure you work in a company or you own your own, and you will know in your company or in the company that you work for that there's a certain brand that is out there. Your company looks a certain way. It's got certain colors, certain fonts, and if you dare go or transgress against that, you could find yourself in hot water. And that is why there's specific people within the company that only do branding, because they understand the company's brand and they want to make sure that the company looks a certain way in the outside world. In Toastmasters, you are that person. And so therefore, you'll hear me calling you brand ambassadors a lot because your role is to safeguard the Toastmasters brand and the Toastmasters identity, which we will get to in a bit. There's also something called the public relations plan, which we'll chat about. You are the custodian of that plan. You also keep members informed about what's happening, either club activities or any member milestones that we want to celebrate. But you also let the world know about Toastmasters through different tactics such as publicity, social media, websites, club newsletters, and a whole lot of other methods. Are there any questions with regards to what your role entails? Erica, I'm going to ask you to assist me because I'm on full screen. I literally can only see the participants, but I can't see the faces. I don't know what's going on. I think
that's fine. No one has their camera on, and I'm not seeing any questions in the chat. So I think we're okay.
Great. Leaders, you'll notice on here, so your role, you invite guests. Remember, you're letting the world know about Toastmasters. So you're inviting guests to your club meetings, to your club events. You're not responsible for converting guests to members, for example. So you see here, I never spoke about converting guests to members because that's not a role that you will do. You're not responsible for putting together the agenda or the program for each club meeting. That is the role of another club officer. And that's why I thought 4 bullet points to explain to you very overview of what your role entails. You're the brand ambassador, you're responsible for the PR plan, and you're also responsible for communications. Is there anyone here from a corporate club? Nobody.
Don't see any takers.
Okay, great. So if this was a company, you would be a marketing manager or you would be a communications manager. Some companies have both. Other companies just have someone that's called marketing and communications manager. But if this was a company, you would be the marketing and communications manager in your company. So you are the marketing manager or the communications manager of your Toastmasters club, wherever it may be.
So actually, Matome is with a corporate club.
Which club are you? Oh, yes, Nedbank. Nedbank. Yes, I forgot. I'm so sorry. Matome, you from Nedbank? So if you, I'm sure you can relate in Nedbank, there may be marketing managers or communications managers or both, or someone who's called marketing and communications manager. That is your role. So if you can identify that person within your company, that is who you would be in that particular company. Leaders, there's an attendance register that's flying around. I don't know, Erica, if it's in our group, or if you could post it in the chat, please, so that our 4 leaders can complete the attendance register. I'd greatly, greatly appreciate that.
I will post that in the chat. Pierre is asking, will we keep this role for the next year?
That is correct. Ideally, for you to get the maximum benefit from this role, and we'll speak about the skills that you will learn, ideally, it would be lovely if you kept the role for the year. And the year is not from January to December, like a calendar year. The year starts in July. So it just started a few months ago and it will end in June of next year. So if your club only registered in August or September, you will keep this role up until the end of June, irrespective of when your club starts. It's highly recommended. It's one of the more exciting roles. You are client facing, so you deal with all the people from outside. You're responsible for letting the world know about Toastmasters and the members within your club. So I'd highly recommend that you take the maximum benefit for this role and stay in it from now right up until the end of June of next year. So I hope to see you again at the next round of club officer training. But let's get back to this. I said here as my first bullet point that you're responsible for safeguarding the Toastmasters brand. And I'm going to speak a little bit about the brand. In fact, the brand is quite important to any company. It forms part of its identity. So for example, we're all from South Africa. I think if you know the banks in South Africa, they all have a distinct color. You will never see the blue bank in green, or you'll never see the green bank in orange. They all have distinct colors because that's part of their identity. I think of McDonald's. McDonald's is always yellow and that orange. I think of Coca-Cola. It's always that red with the white. You'll never see Coca-Cola in black and white or green and red. It's always in set colors. Why? Because it's part of that brand's identity. In Toastmasters, it's the same. And what we have is what we call a brand manual. In companies, for you, Matome, it's probably called a corporate CI manual, which stands for Corporate Identity Manual. You may not be in the marketing department, so you may not know of it, but there's a group of people who are responsible for upholding the brand within your company, and they use something which is called a CI manual. In Toastmasters, we call it a brand manual. And that brand manual is guidelines on how to implement the Toastmasters brand in your communication. There are 4 things that are quite important in the implementing of the Toastmasters brand. We're going to speak about it this morning. The one thing is colors. So just like Coke is a specific color and McDonald's are specific colors, Toastmasters has specific colors. It has specific fonts. There is a specific logo and how you use it. And there are also specific or types of images that we guide brand ambassadors like yourself to use in their communication. And that's important for consistency. Again, like I'm saying, let's speak about Coca-Cola because I'm hoping you know it too. Coca-Cola is red or that red and white no matter where you go in the world. You can be in China, US, Coca-Cola is the same. You can identify it by the way that it looks. And it's one of those brands that hasn't actually changed much over the years. So you can identify it. Why? Because it wants to ingrain it in your mind so that you know that Coca-Cola is Coca-Cola. And that's also for consistency, like I've mentioned here. So I want to recommend to you, brand ambassadors, that you consult the brand manual regularly. I have the brand manual on my PC. I'm not going to share it with you this morning. We're going to pull excerpts from it. And then at the end, I will give you my details and then I can share as part of the resources with you so that you can be able to navigate your journey and have that manual on hand. I find it always helps when you have it so that you're able to refer to it from time to time, especially because you're a new Toastmaster and because you're a brand ambassador. I don't know if there are any questions on just a little bit that we've discussed so far. Okay, I'll take the silence to mean no. Eventually we will ask questions, so don't worry. I spoke about the four elements, and we're going to touch on them. The first one was colors. Just like Coca-Cola has its set colors, Toastmasters has the same too. And in Toastmasters, we call it a color palette. Now, I'm not going to confuse you with the jargon. Color palette is just the types of colors as a guideline that we use in Toastmasters. So we don't just have any color. I can use any color that I want to. There's specific set of colors that we use, just like any other brand. We've got what we call primary colors. Now, primary color means a main color, because primary is main. And then we've got what we call an accent color. And I'm going to explain the difference to you. A primary color is the color that is used as your main color. So if you think of Coca-Cola, its primary color is the red. If you think of McDonald's, its primary color is yellow. You'll never see them having, say, so Coca-Cola is red and white. You'll never see the parts that are red in white and then the Coca-Cola written in red. It's always the same way. It's similar with Toastmasters. So the three primary colors that we have in Toastmasters, and I'm going to try and zoom into this picture. Oh, sorry. Don't know how to, let me see if I can zoom in. Let me go there. Okay, I've zoomed in. The primary colors that we have in Toastmasters are true maroon, loyal blue, and cool gray. Now I know you can go onto any platform like PowerPoint and you think, oh, this looks like maroon, this looks like blue, this looks like gray. Toastmasters has given you further guidelines on how to find the actual true maroon, the actual loyal blue, and the actual cool gray. And if you look here, and I hope my mouse is working. If you look here, there are some letters with some numbers to guide you. Now, these letters and numbers depends on the platform that you are using. Please let me know in the chat box, what platform have you started using for your creating of your marketing material? So there are a few options out there. There's PowerPoint. There's a platform called Canva. What platform did either your new mentors tell you about, or what platform do you intend using to create your posters?
We've got PowerPoint, we've got Canva and PowerPoint, Canva, Photoshop.
Okay, great. So I'm loving the variety that's coming through in the chat box, because that will help guide us on the numbers that we need to look out for. So for my colleagues that are using PowerPoint and Canva, you will follow, my mouse is a bit funny. So you will follow this first number, which is called a hex code. And you'll see there that there are specific numbers, 772432. You'll see on the loyal blue, it's 004165, and you'll see on the gray, there's also a number. If you're using Canva, especially, Canva, hex code is the code that you will follow. So there are three options. There's a hex code, there's a CMYK code, there's the RGB code. Don't worry about the Pantone, that just means the color tone. So that doesn't apply to you. If you're using Canva, you will follow the hex code. So where you go under colors and you're choosing the color, so you won't choose one of the colors that comes preset. There's a place there that's got many colors where you almost custom the color. It's going to ask you for a code. This is the code that you will put, 772432. If you're looking for true maroon, if you're looking for loyal blue, 0015, and if you're looking to use the gray, it's A9B2B1. Leaders, I ask, don't remix it. So don't think, oh, 77243. I actually like 431. I don't like 432. Or I like 004164. Please follow this code, because that code is going to give you the actual true maroon. This code will give you the actual loyal blue, and that code will give you the cool gray. If you're using PowerPoint, you spoil for choice, because you've got two options. Your hex code does work, as well as the RGB code. So RGB, under the R, you put a number, which is 119. Under the G, you'll put 36. Under the B, you'll put 50. Then for the blue, these are the numbers it's written for the cool gray. But you also have the option of using the hex code. Hex code, hex code. Those are for the people that are using PowerPoint. So Canva, it's only the hex code, which is the first one. You don't have the others. PowerPoint, you have hex or RGB, the number will remain the same. And if you're using a platform called GIMP, I can't remember how you pronounce it. It's the CMYK code. I think PowerPoint may also have it. I'm not sure, but I don't know about Photoshop, so maybe you can tell me in the chat box what does it look like in terms of the colors. But I saw you said Photoshop and PowerPoint. So if you follow PowerPoint, you've got the hex code as well as the RGB code. Pierre, I see your hand and I will give you an opportunity shortly. So yes, Pierre, let's just answer you now whilst we're on the question of the primary colors. Over to you.
You call it GIMP, not GIMP.
Okay,
GIMP, yeah.
Thank you so much. So for GIMP, you will use the CMYK code. Those people who are in graphic designing, they know, I'm hoping they know what GIMP is. You will follow the CMY code, CMYK, and you'll see under C there's a number, M there's a number, Y there's a number, K there's a number. I'm going to get to the accent colors, and then I'm going to give you an idea of how you can remember this thing a little bit easier, because I find it, I just want to zoom in a little bit more and go to the accent color. Okay, so an accent color, where a primary color is your main color. So your poster needs to have either true maroon or loyal blue or cool gray as your main color. I have found that the true maroon and the loyal blue work really well. The cool gray, oh, and I see it on posters, the poster tends to look a little bit dull. So I would recommend you true maroon or loyal blue as your main color. You notice that there's no white there, there's no black, there's no orange, there's no green. Your primary colors is either true maroon or loyal blue or cool gray. These leaders, as new club officers or as new brand ambassadors, don't put colors that are not there. The brand guideline is clearly giving you the 3 colors that you may use. Then there's an accent color. Now, an accent color is almost like what you accentuate. Accent comes from the word accentuate, how you make your document look pretty, make it look nice. So it could be your font color. It could be if you're having some kind of designs happening so maybe you've got lines, or you may be separating stuff with some elements. The people who are on Canva know what I'm talking about, because there's a place called Elements. You could use happy yellow as your color, and same as the other colors you see there's a hex code, there's a CMYK code, there's an RGB code. Another accent color that you could also use is white. I find that I find happy yellow works well with the true maroon and the loyal blue. I find if you make your poster mostly cool gray, the blue works well, but you could also use white as an accent color sparingly, and you could use a little bit of black. Now, the reason why I'm saying sparingly is that it's not an accent color and it is a primary color. So please do not put your poster in cool gray and write everything in black, because Maud said you can use black. Please use black sparingly as well as white. So please don't write your whole poster in white or the fonts in white. Happy yellow is the main accent color. You can also use these others as accent colors, but use them sparingly because they are mainly primary colors. Chantelet or Chantelet, you didn't get a chance to introduce yourself, so maybe I'll give you a chance to, before you ask your question, unmute yourself, let us know which club you're representing and how long you've been a Toastmaster. Over to you.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for this training presentation today. My name is Chantelet Bester, and I am a member of the SARS Transformers Toastmasters Club. The club was just chartered in October, the beginning of October, so it's a brand new, and yes, we're a brand new club, but we're very proud to be part of the Transformers family. I mean the Toastmasters family, sorry. My question, thank you, Madam Trainer, I don't know, a facilitator. My question is, if a person is using the Canva platform, can we use PowerPoint and transfer our presentation to the to the Canva platform because all. So I would prefer to use something that I'm used to and then transfer it over to the Canva platform. Is that a possibility? Thank you so much.
Thank you for your question and lovely to meet you, Chantelle. Unfortunately, Canva is one of those, it's kind of like an in-platform. So if you're using Canva, Canva doesn't, I'm not going to say Canva doesn't allow you. Canva is a platform on its own. The only thing it allows you to put through is images that you would have on your PC, but you're not really able to do something on PowerPoint and put it onto Canva. So you almost need to choose a devil, as they would say in metaphorical terms. You're either using PowerPoint or you're using Canva. Canva is already a graphic designing platform of its own. It allows you to bring in your own pictures. It has pictures. You can bring in your own and you can bring in your own elements, but you can't do something on PowerPoint and bring it back to Canva. Unfortunately, it's not restrictive, but it's a platform on its own. I would almost say choose a struggle and then decide which one you want to use. I hope I've answered your question. Leaders, I don't know if there's any questions with regards to the color palette. We've got quite a lot to discuss and we don't have a lot of time, and I want to make sure that I give you value for your time. Anything with regards to the color palette? So what we'll do is, for the sake of time, let's also use the chat box to ask our questions, because I'm just concerned that we're not going to have an opportunity to go through everything. So Pierre, if you could ask a question, your question in the chat box, we'll have an opportunity at the end if there's time, but please ask your question as it comes so that we can address it within that section. So I'll give you a few seconds to jot your question in the chat box, and then we'll move on to the fonts. I don't know what you mean by primer color. So a primary color is the main color, and an accent color, so your font colors, or if you're putting, we've got examples of some of posters that have been created to show you what we're talking about, but no, we don't have primer colors. So even with Coca-Cola's main color is red. Primary, you'll see here, primary color. Sorry, primary color. So the primary colors for Toastmasters are right there: True Maroon, Loyal Blue, and Cool Gray. So your advert colors, and then an accent color is Happy Yellow. You could use white, but sparingly, as well as black. Please do not make your entire poster white font, or do not make the poster white, because that's not, there's not just one. Yes, there's 3 primary colors, and there's 1 accent color. So please just make sure that you're mindful of that. All of this is in the brand manual, which I will share with you when I give you my details. And then Toastmasters is the fonts. So just like any brand has particular fonts that one should use, Coca-Cola, the main font of Toastmasters is a font that's called Gotham. Now, Gotham is on, you have Gotham on PowerPoint. I saw some people are using PowerPoint. There is also Gotham on Canva, by the way. I saw it the other day and I thought, oh, I didn't know there was Gotham. So Gotham is the main color, the main font that you could use. And you'll see here, there's different layers of Gotham. So there's ultra, there's black, there's bold, medium, book. There's different layers of it. So you can play around with the different layers. Notice layers of Gotham. Another font that you could use, and you'll see here, the usage of Gotham is for your headlines and your subheadings. Headlines and your subheadings. So what I usually do, so I don't use PowerPoint, I use Canva. An alternative font is Montserrat, and you'll see it here on your left. Montserrat is available on Canva. It actually looks quite nice. I like it. It's very similar to Gotham, but it's a Canva color, Canva font. It's called Montserrat. There's also layers of Montserrat. There's Montserrat extra bold, Montserrat semi-bold, Montserrat classic, and Montserrat. You can play around with the different, and it's just layers, guys. It's not a different font. So you see here, this is thick, and then it starts getting a little bit thinner as you move along. And Canva is the same. So what I do is, if I'm doing a poster, I'll maybe put the main heading in a thicker font, and then the actual wording in either medium or book. Because I find this font, when it's too much, when it, like you're writing a full sentence in, say, bold, in this ultra bold or ultra, it becomes too compacted. The words get too shoved together. So look at it, and if it doesn't look good, maybe look at using one of the other layers of the same particular font. Another font that is permitted is a font called Sans Pro. What is the font called, Erica? Sans Pro, something like that. It's going to be in the brand manual that I'll send you, leaders. The reason why I put Gotham is because some people have been saying to me that other font, Myriad Pro is another option of a font that you can use, but a lot of people have been complaining that it's not. It's depending on your PC or the year of your PC, how old your PC is, you struggle to find it. Gotham, you shouldn't struggle. If you do struggle to find Gotham, you can use a little bit of Arial, but please aim to use Gotham, especially the people on PowerPoint, because I don't think you have Montserrat. The people who are using Canva, you definitely have Montserrat, but you also have Gotham as an option. So please don't limit yourself if you're able to use either one of those. Erica, I don't know if there are any questions or anything that you want to add from your side, or if there's any questions from the chat box before we move over to the logos.
No questions, and all good on point. Thanks.
Okay, great. Now, leaders, we're going to talk about the logo. So just like your company has a logo, and there's a certain way that you need to use the logo, if you don't get it right, you may find yourself in hot water. Toastmasters is exactly the same. And whilst you won't find yourself in hot water, because these are just guidelines, we ask that you please adhere to the guidelines, because it really helps with that consistency that we're trying to create out there in the marketplace. So on the left-hand side is the different, I won't say types of logos, but it's the different placements of the logos. So you could use any one of the Toastmaster logos. They are acceptable. I'll tell you where you can find them, so don't stress. But I want to focus on the middle portion, and that is how not to use the logo. So you'll see here, there's this thing meant no, do not. So don't put the logo in perspective. Don't disproportionately scale the logo. Please don't change the proportion of the logo elements. Please don't change any elements of the logo. Can you see they took out the world here and they made it their own? Please don't customize or create logos for clubs and districts. So you have the Toastmasters logo and here it has the name of your club. Please don't do that. Please don't change the logo colors. We ask that you not put the logo on colors that aren't in the brand color palettes. Now, can you see why it's important to get the colors right? Because if you use green, and Toastmasters we don't have green in our color palettes. If you put green and you put the logo, they're asking you, please don't do that. And please don't use any copy or slogans, symbols, or images overlapping the logo. And we humbly ask that you do not put patterned glow behind the logo. And I've put a little love letter for my friends in corporate clubs. What's the guy's name? Matome, there's a nice love letter for you on the right-hand side there. All corporate clubs also need to adhere to the Toastmasters brand. I know that you're a Toastmasters club within a corporate, so you would follow the Toastmasters branding and not your company branding. You are permitted to use your company logo on your posters, on your marketing material, but it may not be next to the Toastmasters one, always on the opposite end. And we'll show you some examples in a few minutes of what we're talking about. So you can use the logo Matome, just not next to. So this is next to. So if your logo is here, this is next to. They're asking that it be on opposite ends. Opposite. So if this, say, was your poster, you could put it there. So if your logo was there, you could put the Toastmasters logo there or there or there, not next to each other. This is quite an important part of the Toastmasters brand manual. And I'm wondering if there are any questions that are coming through in the chat box. Erica, over to you.
I think people are just waiting to see some examples.
Cool, that's no problem. We're going to get to it right away, Toastmasters. Don't you worry. Then we're going to talk about the images. Also quite important because we've seen a lot of people maybe not getting this quite right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in here so that you can see it even for whoever's on a phone. Then I just do it a bit like, so just give me a second. I just want to read the first sentence because when I zoom in, I'm not able to see the first sentence. So it says, and I'm reading from this portion, the photography style should reflect the Toastmasters environment. Let me zoom in now. Where people, please can you read that first line for me, Erica? I'm not able to see it.
Sure. where people look engaged, empowered, and supported, as portrayed in meetings, presentations, speeches, networking venues, conferences, training venues, and speech contests.
Thank you so much. You'll see it says where people look engaged. People. I'll move on to the second paragraph and I'm going to read it a bit slowly because you're new members in Toastmasters. Please stay away from images that do not connect to the Toastmasters environment, such as those mainly or solely portraying landscapes, animals, children, food and food appliances, medicine, and architecture. And then you see in bold, please do not use cartoons, illustrations, or clip art in materials created for clubs. Please do not. People look engaged. We stay away from images that portray landscapes, animals, children, food and food appliances, medicine, and architecture. Now, let me explain some of those elements just in case we were confused. Landscapes is almost like greenery, so forests, trees, landscape. That is not permitted in Toastmasters. It says where people look engaged. So when you're about to put a picture on your marketing material, whether it's your poster or whatever, ask yourself, is this a picture of people looking engaged? If not, it's not supposed to be on your poster. I'll repeat that. If you ask yourself, is this a picture of people looking engaged? If your picture that you're using does not have a person on it, it's not a picture that's appropriate for Toastmasters. Animals, we're heading towards Christmas now. Father Christmas is going to come out to play. He's a cartoon. A lot of people portray him as cartoons carrying the sledge. That's not permitted. So any animals of any sort, and even if your theme is centered around animals, animals should not appear on your Toastmasters branding or your Toastmasters marketing. Children, important, food and food appliances. Now, when we talk about food, I know you'll say, yeah, but fruits are not food. Food is food that you eat, plants, any kind of food shouldn't appear on your posters. No appliances. So I know it's Toastmasters, but it's not a toaster. So no toast, even if your theme has got to do with homeware or cooking, please do not put those on your branding. Medicine and architecture. Now, architecture is buildings. I've seen some people putting buildings on their posters. Buildings are not permitted on our Toastmasters branding, as well as cartoons. So Mickey Mouse, I saw one poster with Mickey Mouse and I was a bit, Mickey Mouse and all of those things. Father Christmas is around the corner, guys. There's Valentine's Day, there's Easter, there's all these holidays that either have animals or landscape or children or architecture. Those are not permitted on our posters. And then you'll see the final paragraph. It says, always make sure that you have permission to use or produce any images or pictures utilized in your designs. Images protected by trademarks and copyrights should never be used. But I'm sure you're asking yourself, okay, if we're not supposed to use that, then what are we supposed to use? On the document, it says there are an array of Toastmaster branded images that are available to download. There's the link. It's on the Toastmasters website, leaders, and I've put a link to it at the end of this presentation, so you'll see it. You can go in there, you log on with your username and password. You literally can just click on the link. It will take you right to the place where there are pictures if you're in doubt. There's also other platforms that you could use to get some pictures, and Erica will tell you about those. All that we ask is don't use pictures that come from Google, because a lot of them are copyrighted. They belong to someone. You don't know where they come from. If you put them on your branding and someone gets hold of them, you could find yourself in a little bit of a copyright infringement, and we don't want that for you. So Toastmasters has made branded images available for you to use if you're in doubt on what options are out there. But Erica, what options are out there?
There's also a question, Maud, on can we use our own club members' photos?
So that is also an option. In fact, I recommend it. Let me get to the love letter for Matome from Nedbank. All corporate clubs also need to adhere to the brand when it comes to images. So you're not putting the images that Nedbank is using, because Nedbank sponsors a lot of major events in South Africa. Please don't use the company images on your marketing material. You, Matome, as Nedbank, are also to adhere to the Toastmasters branding in terms of pictures. Leaders, the pictures that you're using, as long as they are people, the images of people who look engaged, they are great pictures to use on your branding. I recommend to brand ambassadors, because I was a PR manager in the previous Toastmasters year, the pictures that you take at your club work very well. In fact, I always recommend to brand ambassadors, when you attend your club meetings or events or training, whatever you're calling them, ask that a picture be taken at the end of the event and use those as your stock images, so that when you're making your posters, you use those pictures. And the nice thing about them is it ends up being relatable. When people see that, oh, okay, Matome is on the picture, I know that guy, he works at that department, and they come to your session and they see you, it makes it a bit more relatable. So insist as the brand ambassador, remember, you're responsible for this. You also like a mini paparazzi at your club meetings. Insist, ask the president at every single event, we need to take that picture. Do not leave that event without taking that picture. And then you keep those pictures and you use those images as stock. And imagine if you meet twice a month and you have all of those pictures. By the end of the year, you meet about 20 times in a year. Imagine having just 20 pictures from just your meetings. And then imagine the other pictures that you will get from Toastmasters and from all the other websites that you could add to your bank of knowledge, and you could use those images as your stock images. I don't know if there are any questions coming through from the chat box, Erica.
No, that was the question. Thanks, Maud.
Okay, great. And the nice thing is, you know, if you take a screen grab of the screen, like what we'll do today, you can repurpose the same picture. So you could crop out and you could use those people this time, you could use those people, or you could add people. That's the beauty about this online environment, and everyone's on your screen. Beautiful. So those are the options in terms of pictures. I'm hoping that you've learned, and that we won't see food and cartoons on your pictures or on your marketing material, because that is not in line with the Toastmasters brand. Now, we're getting to the parts that you were asking for examples, and we're going to get really interactive at this point. So I'm going to be asking you to tell us by unmuting yourself. I will just ask, or Erica, you'll help me. Let me see if I can go on a full dashboard. I can't see everyone. Okay, great. I can see everyone. I'm going to show you a few pictures, and then you're going to give me the yay or the nay. So that you could either go thumbs up or thumbs down, and you need to tell me or tell us why you're giving it a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Is this picture brand right? I'm going to give Chantelle an opportunity, or anyone can just give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Is this picture brand right, up or down?
We're getting some no's, thumbs down in the chat.
No, it's not. I don't know where to find the things.
Okay, why is it not?
Because it has an animal in it.
An animal, and what else?
Oh, the background is not corporate colors, and the font is not corporate font.
Right. So I wouldn't really say corporate font. It's not the Toastmasters font. So the font is not correct. We don't use animals, and also the greenery. And another key thing that it's also missing is it doesn't have the Toastmasters logo. So this logo that's here at the bottom left is the logo that's on my presentation. You see it's on every single slide. So it's not part of this flyer. So always aim to put the logo on your marketing material, so that people know, oh, okay, this is Toastmasters, and they can see what's happening. I see we've got 30 minutes to go, but we've made good progress. What about these two? So I'm going to give two people an option to speak. One of them will be Pierre. Pierre, you could give me a thumbs up or down. So Pierre, you'll do the one on the left with Tarantal, and then Derek, you'll do the one on your right with the information diet. So Derek, maybe you can go first. One on the right.
The one on the right, well, firstly, there's a lot of food. I can't tell just by looking, but I don't know if that yellow for the information diet is the correct yellow. And also it's a complementary, an accent color, not one of the three primary colors, if memory serves. Other than that, I can't tell if the logo has been changed, but I would make the logo a bit bigger, but that's me. And that's all I can see, I think.
Thank you for your input. What about you, Pierre, with regards to the Tarantar?
The person is not engaging. I don't know if that makes sense. And I don't see the logo. And I'm also not sure about the colors, the yellow especially. And I'm not sure about the font also.
Anything
I think
else?
that's it. Nope.
Okay, great.
Just the
So let
logo
me
that's
start
missing.
Great. So let me start with you, Derek. You're spot on one thing. So this poster is beautifully designed, by the way. Let's give the person who made this credit. It's beautifully designed. The main thing, and probably the only thing that's wrong with this, is the food. And it's like, it's the first thing that you see. You cannot miss it. The food is like, boom, in your face. And it's not brand rights. No food on our posters. Everything else is fine. The yellow is correct. The way the Toastmasters logo was used is correct. I mean, they even got contact details and everything. But the food, I mean, the food is, without even looking at the poster, the food is the first thing that you see, and it's not correct. So no food on our posters. Let's move on to the one on the left. So Pierre, you were correct. Fonts are not correct. There's no logo on here. The colors are not correct. And the most important thing, the Pierre, it's not a person that looks engaged. This person's got our back at us. And look at his background. A whole lot of landscape everywhere. So this is landscaping. So example, leaders. And landscape, not permitted on our posters. Not permitted on our posters. So even if there were two people engaging, the fact that there's landscape, which is the main thing of this poster, does not make this poster brand. So just be mindful of those kinds of things as you move along on your journey. Then I've put two, and I'm going to give Matome an opportunity. Is Precious Patience still on the call, Erica?
I'm here.
Okay, sorry. I can only see one tile. So Matome and Patience, I'm going to give you an opportunity. So Matome, let me give you the one on the left. 4 ways Toastmasters, and then Patience, you can have the one on the right. Are these posters brand right? Anyone can go first.
Four ways. Okay, I'll go first. Four ways Toastmasters poster. I see there's no logo there at all, and the people in the picture are not engaging. They're actually just looking at the picture. I mean, at the camera. And yeah, there's no logo, and the primary colors are not according to the training we just had now. They are not according to the brand manual. And yeah, okay, yeah, there's no contact details as well. It's just time for the meeting, but there's no contact details. Oh, they are there. Okay, yeah. But anyway, there's no logo according to me. There's no logo, and there's no, the people are not engaging, and yeah, the primary colors are not used according to the guidelines.
Great. What about you, Patience? Nedbank Toastmasters Club.
I'd say that so with the colors, I struggle until I actually put the hex code. So I think for me the colors look correct. The yellow looks like it's the correct one in the blue background. I think that the one that's in the true maroon background might be affected by the background that it is in, but that one doesn't look like the correct yellow. But the people that are on the screen look engaged. There is there's a logo which seems correct. There is contact details. There's the date. So I don't see anything wrong with this one in particular, except that the yellow in the maroon just doesn't seem right to me. But I don't know if it's just the background in it.
Great. Leaders, thank you so much for your input. So I'll let you know that the advert on your right, the one with Nedbank, firstly, both of them have used the correct colors. It may look a bit funny-ish because I had to copy and paste it from I won't say stole, but I took it from the webs, these people's social media. But the colors are definitely correct. They're actually identical in terms of the colors. The yellows are correct. Always just make sure that you put the hex code, correct hex code, and you'll get the correct color. Both of them are actually people that look engaged. In fact, Matome, the ones on the left at 4 ways, they're actually looking at you if you look at them properly. So they are engaged. You can see they're in a meeting and they just posed for a picture looking at you. The ones on the left also look engaged. We also like to recommend Toastmasters. Make sure that your pictures are clear. Don't put blurry pictures because you want to get it. But remember, pictures engage. People look at the picture before they look at the words. So make sure that the picture's clear. We can see the people in the picture, etc. And then both of them have contact details. The one has put a number, the other one's put an email address. The ones even told you upfront how much it's going to cost, so there's no surprises. And it's also given you some idea of what to expect there at Toastmasters. So you can see the one on the left, 4 ways. It tells you what Toastmasters can do for you. So you're not coming there and thinking, oh, what is this Toastmasters? The one on the right just tells you the theme is New Dawn, but you don't really know, hey, what can I expect there? What is this thing going to do for me? So these are just ideas of posters that I took from other people's social media to give you an idea of kinds of wording you can use, what your posters can look like, etc. And you can see both of them. The primary color is blue, but they've also used the maroon. And then the accent color or the font color, you can see both of them have used yellow, but the one has also used a little bit of white to lift the entire color. That is it with regards to the examples that you were asking for. And I've got 2 more. So I'll just go through these quickly for the sake of time. Here's a photo of people.
Can I just share one thing? Just a note, if you are using pictures of people in your club, please make sure you have their permission to share. Because some people are very precious about their images on public media. So just ask them. It doesn't have to be a big deal, but just make sure people are happy for you to use their images.
Correct. You'll see here, these both have the Toastmasters logo. These are events with a specific person. So this person's the keynote speaker, for example, at their event. So they've put his name, what he does. They've even told you how much it is. So you have to pay to go to this event. All the details are on there. One thing I could recommend, okay, yeah, there is a number, so it's okay. This one here, I'm not seeing a contact number. So if you saw this poster, you wouldn't really know who to contact. So just make sure there's a contact number there. So if someone has a question or query, they can either contact by call or by email. But if there's no details, we don't know who to be asked if we have any challenges. I hope these flyers inspired you leaders a little bit, gave you a food for thought, what pictures to put, what pictures or how to design your posters, what not to put and what to put. And we look forward to seeing your flyers. These are examples of just pictures of people who look engaged to give you an idea. They're in the Toastmasters brand manual, and a lot of them are on the Toastmasters website. So hopefully you'll be able to find them. We'll give you the link to that. Is anyone having a question? No.
Yes, there's a question on, can we do a poster without a photo of people?
So photos, the first thing that a person sees when they engage with your content. So please make sure that you put a picture. If you don't put a poster and there's a whole lot of words, people read pictures before they read words. So just keep that in mind. And that's why I suppose this picture, this photo is bold, because that's the first thing you see. Now, if there's a whole lot of words and there's no writing, it makes it a bit difficult to engage with that poster. This is just my recommendation. You don't have to follow it, but you'll see all the posters all have a picture. Patience, for the sake of time, I'm going to ask you to please use the chat box, and then we'll be able to address your question when we get there. In fact, to all the leaders, if you could, because we only have 15 minutes left and we've got quite a lot that we still need to cover at this point. So this is examples of pictures that you must use. And the tone and the voice of Toastmasters is quite a friendly one. It's quite warm, but it's also very, very professional. Just keep that in mind when you're making your posters. No harsh language to come through, because that's not the kind of persona that the Toastmasters brand is all about. I don't know if the question has made it into the chat box, Erica.
There's one question about, can we charge people to attend our club event?
It's completely up to you. This club does charge. It depends on, but remember, guys, don't let your guests question value. So because these people had a keynote speaker, they charged because maybe they thought this guy is an amazing speaker. Look what he's talking about. How did you discover your why? And then they charged people. We at our club, we don't charge people because we didn't want to deter people from coming, because it can be a barrier to entry. Sometimes a person wants to come, but you're charging. So it will depend on your type of club and the energy and whatever it is your objective is that you're achieving. That will need to be an exco and a member decision. It's not you as a VPPR who decides that we're charging people or we're not charging people. So whilst it's a good question, it's not a decision that you as the VPPR would make at any particular point.
And Patience is sharing that her biggest struggle is finding engaged people that match the theme.
Okay, so this is the conversation Erica and I were having yesterday. I personally don't believe in themes because I don't believe they sell the benefits of Toastmasters. And so, like, if, for example, you see these people here, they say Toastmasters helps you become confident as a person, speak confidently and fluently, and lead with influence. Remember, you're not making the poster for yourself, or you're not making the poster for the members in the club. You're making this poster for the people outside. And when they see this poster, are they going to know what this thing is about, or are you telling them about the theme that they don't understand? So if your club does themes, that's really great. I personally am not for themes. I don't use them on our club posters. I don't encourage them to be done. The club does them now, but you need to just be mindful of that dynamic. So it will need to be a conversation you would need to have as a leadership team. Do we use themes or don't we use themes? A lot of clubs are moving away from it because remember, when I see your poster on social media, is this thing going to tell me what Toastmasters is about? If it doesn't, maybe it's got to do with having the theme on your posters. So look at a different approach. Like none of these two posters have a theme. The poster on your right, this poster has a theme, but this poster doesn't have. You ultimately want someone to look at your flyer and say, oh, I want to go to this thing. Now, if you're saying New Dawn, what does it mean to me? Like, why should I come to this thing? But if you tell people what they can expect upfront, so with this poster, oh, by the way, this is a poster we created for a new club we started about 2 years ago. We were asking people, do you want to develop these skills? This is how Toastmasters can help you. Come to this particular event. So immediately you knew what was going to be happening before you even RSVP'd and signed up. So just bear that in mind as you navigate your journey, whether you're going with a theme or you're not going with a theme. As long as Toastmasters, these things that we spoke about here, in terms of images, are not appearing on your flyers, then you're good to go. I'm going to quickly go through this part, leaders, because we have like 13 minutes. So they say if you fail to plan, you almost need to have a plan of how you're going to do it. You want to lose weight? How are you going to go about doing it? You need to exercise, you need to eat, even that. How are you going to eat? So you're going to meal plan, or you're going to what food you're going to eat, you need to have a plan. We are recommending that you also have a public relations plan because it's going to help give you structure and also help you to be able to manage your time and your energy. That plan will tell you what's going to happen when, who's responsible for what, and the deadlines. Keep it SMART. You would have heard of SMART. It's specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and it's time-based. And just be clear on who your target market is. So whilst they say you speak to everyone, you speak to no one, not every club is for everyone. So for example, Nedbank Toastmasters in Durban is only for people who work in Nedbank. So if you don't work at Nedbank, you can't join that club. If you work in Standard Bank, you're not a member of that club. Good to great, who's the target market of that? And then that will also help guide the material that you put out there. So if your club is only for ladies, you'll immediately know that you can't have men on your posters. If your club is for young people, having maybe an older generation is not appropriate for your flyers. SARS transformers, it would be nice to have people from inside SARS or people that look like they work, the demographic of the people that work at SARS. Those are ideas of your target market. But that again, because you're new clubs, most of you You ask the people in your club, the exco, who is the target market of our club? And then make sure that your marketing material speaks to those people so that there's a match. Otherwise, there's a mismatch and someone looks at this flyer and says, I don't want to go there. There's only old people, when maybe your club is only for is mostly got young people. So just bear that in mind. In terms of the plan, keep your leadership team accountable. So remember I said in the beginning, you're the custodian. So you're not the only one adding to the plan. You're the one putting the plan together, but you're getting input from all the different leaders from within your leadership team. Every time you guys have your club exco meeting, which I'm hoping is at least once a month, you need to report on the progress of that PR plan. If you don't have a plan, I'm assuming you don't because you're a new club, start working on that plan. Ask yourself, what are some of the things that I want to do this year? By when do I want to do it? How am I going to do it? So that you know that, okay, next week we're meeting, or 2 weeks time we're meeting. Don't wait. The plan will tell you, oh, okay, I need to make the poster. I need to put the poster on social media. I need to put the poster in the group. It's going to help give you structure because remember, you're not only a Toastmaster, you've got your work, you've got your personal life, and the plan will help guide you on what you need to do by when, who's responsible for what, etc. I've said a lot. Are there any questions in the chat box with regards to the PR plan, Erica?
No, there's nothing. Thanks, Maud.
In terms of how you go about doing the plan, we're going to share a resource which will guide you on how to do it. I just thought, let me explain the bit about putting together that plan and that structure. It's really going to help you navigate it if you have a plan of what it is you want to do. As a communications manager of your club, you're responsible for internal communications, which is speaking to the people outside, as well as external communications. Internal communications is just letting your members know about all the various activity at your club. Please aim to do this in advance. So don't wake up today and decide, oh, today's the meeting. Oh, shucks, I forgot to make the poster. Let me quickly do it. The plan will help you. That's where the plan comes in on when to communicate what by when. Communicate at least a day or two before. Don't communicate a day or two before the event. I recommend, because you only meet twice a month, I'm hoping, for those who meet every week, if the event is Saturday, already by Sunday, you're putting out the material for the next meeting. Do not wait, guys, because life happens, anything can happen, and you don't want to wait. And remember, you're a leader, but you're a Toastmaster first. You also need to speak, deliver speeches. You also need to take up roles at your club. Your members have a lot of stories to tell about their journeys, their milestones, what's happening in their lives as Toastmasters, as people that can make for good content that you could put out there. I've given you 2 examples of content from 2 clubs on celebrating members, just ideas on how to celebrate your members. The one club has a member moments, so you can see every Monday, they call it Monday Member Moments. They profile one of their members, tell you about that person, why they decided to join Toastmasters. The club on the right celebrates their members. So when the member has achieved a certain speech level, they celebrate them. The VPPR created a nice poster. It's not completely brand rights, especially the gold parts, but other than that, everything seems to be fine and they've really, really tried. So celebrate your members. If someone's having a birthday, there's so much opportunity to celebrate, and you, the person, as a VPP, are you responsible for putting that communication together? You may need to work with your leader, your fellow EXCO members. So, for example, if you don't know when's your members' birthdays, you could ask them. Go and individually ask them, hey, when's your birthday? Keep a note for yourself in the plan. Then you know, okay, it's Pierre's birthday on Monday. I must create the poster today, and then Monday I'm ready. Don't think, oh, shucks, I forgot. Oh, I forgot his birthday. And then you say, happy belated birthday. No, guys, celebrate the person when it happens. So if my birthday is today, send out the poster today. The plan will help you because you know it's Maud's birthday next week and you'll be able to celebrate her. We're running out of time. I want to just get through this last part quickly. External communications is about letting the outside people know about your club, where you're situated, when you meet. Even if you're meeting online, you do meet on a certain day and time. When is it that you meet? And that is why it's important here on your posters to say where you're meeting. So can you see here this poster, these people meet online. If you meet in person, it's important to say so that people can manage their expectations and they know, are you meeting online or are you meeting in person? Any events that you're having and you want to invite people from outside, you let the world know about those. Make sure you stick to the brand guidelines. Just be mindful of your language that you use in your poster. So don't use language that they won't understand. And please just be persistent, consistent, and patient. So don't do something once and say, oh, I tried it and it didn't work. You need to be patient, but also be persistent. A lot of you, your clubs only just launched a few months or weeks ago. So be patient. Rome wasn't built in one day. You'll start building that audience that will help you be able to communicate your messages. For the corporate club, Matome, you may not be able to speak to the people outside of the company, but you'll speak to the people inside. So something like internal communications is something that will work well for you. But your external is not going to be the public, it's going to be your colleagues within the company. They become your external people that you will speak to. Let me know if there's any questions in the chat box. I'm going to talk about media relations. This is only for the community clubs, not the corporate clubs. So if you want to be in the media, in the press, whether it's in the community newspapers, print, radio, television, find out if there's a community newspaper or radio station in your area. Introduce yourself, tell them you're the marketing manager of your club, and aim to get yourself, tell them about what's happening at your club. When you meet, invite them, whether it's online or in person, and let them know about Toastmasters in your community. For you, Matome, because you're from a corporate club, you won't be able to use, I know Nedbank is quite strict with that, you don't have access to the media in terms of this. So internal and external communication for you, Matome, becomes the main one. And also for you, Chantele, because I know it's a community club, but you're based in SARS. I don't think they'll be happy if you brought people from outside. So you almost like Matome, you almost more like a corporate club. You're just not, the company's just not paying for you guys. So you could also follow the same. So your internal will be your members, and then your external is not the people outside of the company, it's the people, it's your colleagues, your peers who are not the members of Toastmasters. They will be the people outside. I'm going to leave for questions in a little bit. Social media, you're a new club, so you need to decide, these are our target audience, this is where they are, which platforms do we want to be on? And then you create a plan on how you're going to speak to your audience. They say if you speak to everyone, you speak to no one. So you don't have to be on 4 or 5 platforms. Maybe you can decide we're just doing one for now. We'll master it and we'll build an audience. Then we'll move to another and then we'll just keep adding and adding. But you just need to decide on the platform and use the platform that you believe is the one that is going to be the best one for you. Your club is new, so you may not have a website, but what I recommend is point number 5. Try and start a team email address. It works well for continuity so that the emails don't go to your email address. And if something happens to you, you know, the life is such a short ride. We're now stuck because all the emails were on Derek's PC and now Derek is gone or Derek's resigned. So you can initiate that if you don't have one. Start a team email address. Gmail works well. Call it the name of your club at gmail.com. Share the password with all the leaders. And then when your term comes to an end, you can share the details with those people, and then maybe they can change the password, and then there's some continuity that will happen at your club. I'm going through this quickly, leaders, because I want to hopefully have time for questions. Transferable skills. These are some of the skills that you learn from this role. This role is amazing. Networking, event planning, content creation, if you want to go into that line, media relations, the skills you learn from this role are incredible, incredible, incredible. So I want to encourage you to please do pursue this role intentionally. These are some of the resources that we spoke about Toastmasters. For the pictures, the brand portal, the link is there. There's also a program we launched in the previous Toastmasters year. It was called PR for Success. Everything that we've discussed today and more is available. It's on our YouTube channel, sorry. Okay. It's available on our YouTube channel. It's called Toastmasters Southern Africa District 74. You can go and search there under PR for Success. We created a playlist. You'll find everything there. There's also a VPPR support group. I hope I can have time to drop the link in the chat box. There's also a corporate club support group. There are 2 groups. I hope to drop those details in a minute. Erica, I'm going to give you a chance to share the next slide on the resources whilst I drop the link in the chat box. And leaders, I just want to quickly, these are my details. I'm going to drop all the details in the chat box. So I'm just going to give Erica an opportunity to tell you about the other resources as I drop those links in the chat box. Over to you, Erica.
These are just some sites if you want to find some images that are free to use that you don't have to pay for and have no copyright. So please use those. I also dropped those links in the chat. And then Canva, PowerPoint, Adobe are all options. There is a free version of Canva if you want to use that, and it's quite intuitive. for creating your amazing posters that we look forward to seeing.
Thank you so much. I'm about to drop the details in the chat box, leaders. So there's two details I've put there. There's a VPPR support group for all the VPPRs. I'd recommend you click on there and join that group. If you're from a corporate club, I've dropped a link to my WhatsApp number. If you click on there and you tell me you want the link to join the corporate, it's for corporate clubs. So for you, Matome, and maybe you, Chancellor, if you're interested to being part of that network, you can also join that group. Let me stop sharing now because I'm actually almost done. Leaders, I know I went through it really quickly and I do apologize. I wanted to get through everything instead of miss a few things. If you want the presentation, please do reach out to me. My number is in the chat box. If you literally click on there, it will take you straight to my WhatsApp. We're out of time, but I'm going to ask us to, as we always do, I love taking pictures. You're going to take pictures at your club events. We're going to do the same now. Please can I ask you to turn on your video if you don't mind. We literally have 30 seconds and we have to get out of this virtual room. So please turn on your video and let us capture this moment for our social media pages. Erica, I don't know if you're able to help us at all. Or should I take it?
No, I can do that. That's fine. Is everyone up? Ready? Just please make sure that you've signed the register. Just a reminder to everyone, please. Okay.
Guys, have we all signed the register? I hope we have. If you haven't, please find it in the chat box. Pierre's asking where. Please drop it in the chat box. Okay, let's do the picture first.
I'll link it again. Okay, we all ready? Smile. Great. I think I've got that. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much. But we've also got the screen grab of our picture, so we'll get your names. If you, Erica, are you able to drop the link in the chat box?
I'm doing it now.
Please do complete it so that they know that you have come. Oh, it says we can end it when we finish. Leaders, I don't know if you want to take like a minute if you've got any questions for me. I know I rushed through the presentation, but I wanted to get through anything. Are there any questions? You can just unmute yourself and ask.
Thank you, teacher. It was very nice. When's the next class?
Oh no, firstly, I'm not a teacher. I'd love to be a teacher. I missed my calling on that. But guys, in the support group, the VPPR support group, you'll get the necessary assistance that you need there. There's lots of conversation that goes on there. If you're from a corporate club, Matome, Chantele, I hope to hear from you. My number's in the chat box. I'll send you a link to that group. We have a session coming up this coming Monday. It's via Teams though. It's not on Zoom. We're going to be talking about creating quality sessions for your club, how to create quality sessions. So if that interests you, please reach out to me today. I'll give you the link, you join the group, and hopefully we'll see you. It's via Teams though. In corporate clubs, we only use Teams, we don't use Zoom, so hopefully that's favorable for you. Are there any questions from anyone before we say our goodbyes and go about our weekend? What is the one thing that you benefited the most? So what is the one thing that you learned? Let's see that we've actually got something. Did you get value for your money, guys? Or was it a bit of a waste?
No, it was brilliant. We learned a lot. Now I know how to do my posters. I was doing it wrong all along.
It happens. What about the others, guys? Did you benefit? Was it of value to you? Are there any questions?
I definitely benefited from this session, definitely.
Thank you so much. What about the others? There's a few people who joined. Thank you so much. There are people who joined afterwards. Sinokuku, Anati. Did you find value from the little bits that you heard?
Thank you very much. I think it was, you were very good prepared. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. So leaders, if there are no other questions, on behalf of Erica and myself, I want to thank you for coming. A member of a new club, but you're also a member of Toastmasters. And this is such a rewarding journey. I was speaking in Madagascar at 7 o'clock this morning, and I was telling them about how Toastmasters helped me with stage fright. And this is an amazing organization to be part of, no matter the limitation that's holding you back. you can definitely find that Toastmasters can be able to assist you with it, because when we go out into the real world doesn't give us an opportunity and say, oh, Pierre, you made a mistake when you were presenting. Don't you want to do it again? You don't get that opportunity. But this is a nice place where we get to practice. You give and receive feedback that helps you make your next presentation better, so that when you go out into the workplace, you're not making the mistakes that a lot of your colleagues are making at this time. So I want to encourage you, not just as brand ambassadors, but also as Toastmasters, to really get full benefits out of your Toastmasters journey and take up a role at every single event, meeting, whether you're speaking or you're a grammarian or a timekeeper. There is a benefit to learn in every single role, and really truly immerse yourself in the program, especially for most of you because you're new on the journey. And for you, Derek, I wish you well as you continue with your 2 roles. Even in those, there's something to learn. As a sergeant at arms, you learn the skill of managing an online meeting. As a VPP, or you the brand ambassador, you're the communications person. You're the first person that people see when they deal with you're the first person people see when they deal with your club. And another thing I want to say, and this is also mostly for those that I didn't get to see today, you always on show. Never forget that. As a VPP, or you always on show. You'll be meeting with someone and they'll say, please, can I see you, Derek? And you're like, oh, yeah, sorry, man, I can't switch on my video. I'm so sorry, I won't be able to switch on my video. And that's not good for first impressions. So always remember that as a vice president of public relations, you are the face of your club. And I look at you and I think, I don't really like Derek. I won't join that club. So, and also when they say, can I see you? And lots of times it's happened to me. I'm in a meeting and like, can I see you? And they say, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not ready. Always be ready. You're always on show. That's the only thing you ever take from today, is you're always on show. Get the maximum value for your Toastmasters investment. My number's in the chat box. I look forward to engaging with you. Let's keep this conversation going. It doesn't end here because we're training. It's a long-term relationship, and I wish you well on the journey. I'm always available and accessible to you. If you want that brand manual that we were speaking about, please reach out to me and I will email it to you. It's quite a big document. I didn't want to share it here and bore you with all the details, but you just send me a message and I'll definitely email it to you. Thank you so much, leaders, for such an amazing opportunity. It was lovely to meet you all. I wish you well on your journey as a Toastmaster and as a brand ambassador. And I'm almost certain that I will see you, if not in a WhatsApp group or at your next club event, at a next training very, very soon. Thank you so much. Have yourself a lovely, lovely weekend further and a great week ahead. Bye, Derek. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.